Recently, the channel WatchMojo did a list of their top 20 sexiest female vampires, and while I'm not surprised, the list, as many do, boil down to here are the only 20 female vampires we've heard of. It becomes obvious as many of the names come from well-known vampire franchises but have no place with the word sexy being placed anywhere near their description, as either their characters were not written as sexy at all, or in one case were just background characters that existed. Now let me break it down. I didn't hate the whole list, as the 10 that go on every list I can absolutely agree with, as your Celenes, Santanical Pandemoniums, Bram Stoker's Dracula's Brides, and Akashas should very much be on any list of sexiest female vampires, though I might disagree with their placement. But here are 10 that are on this list, and for comparison's sake, I'll give you 10 that were left out for them to show how off this list was in my opinion. Number 20, Mary from Sinners. I get it, the film just came out, so it's fresh on people's minds, but this character, though attractive, should not be in a top 20 sexiest female vampires. While her one bite scene was absolutely hot for about one whole minute, that doesn't erase that her character for the bulk of the 2+ hour film is that of a scorned woman nagging a guy for leaving her. With that, she's no more sexy than the other women in the film getting laid before turning. Let's compare her to one left out in Rachel from Vampire's Kiss. I don't know too many people who watched this film and didn't immediately lose their minds over Jennifer Beals' portrayal of a maybe real, maybe a figment of a crazy man's imagination, but definitely sexy vampire whose screen time consists of wearing skin-tight dresses or black lingerie, making what was a once powerful business executive a groveling loony just on how hot she is. This should easily put her above a woman who doesn't even get enough vampire scenes, to the point that Michael B. Jordan is shown more in a video about the top 20 sexiest female vampires than the woman they're discussing. Number 19, May, Near Dark. A film about a guy who falls for a woman who ends up turning him into a vampire and forcing him to ride around in an RV with her and her hillbilly vampire family, again, is not something that screams sexy. She's the first on this list that gets on so many sexiest female vampire lists, where you are 100% sure the person who made the list just didn't see many vampire films and needed to fill a spot. This is unfortunate, as left out is no mention of Jeanette from Forever Night. The woman was an old world prostitute prior to being a vampire, and the vast majority of her screen time is her flirting and wanting to eat people and being told that's wrong. I believe a brothel vampire should trump a trailer park vampire any day. Number 18, Ava and Grace, Night Teeth. Again, another entry where they needed to fill in some spots, as these two were background characters in a film that literally starred female vampires. I get that the actresses themselves are well known for being hot and the outfits themselves were sexy, but they are in one scene where they're nagging. Meanwhile, left out, we have either the female vampires in Fangs of the Living Dead. You're either Team Vlenka in the sexy see-through black getup or Team Berta in the sexy cleavagey leggy white dress. Either way, much more deserving on a top 20 spot than a blinker you'll miss a scene in a Netflix film. Number 17, Vampire Girl, Plan 9 from Outer Space. Okay, do I even need to say anything here? Just look at her. Bad movie, not sexy. I mean, the scene speaks for itself, which begs the question, have these people ever seen Odette in the film Transylvania 65000? So you're trying to tell me weird-looking Vampira is sexier than half-naked cleavagey Gina Davis? Now, come on. Number 16, Ava, Only Lovers Left Alive. I think there's no one in the world who saw this film and thought, man, this is sexy. I mean, even the narrator of the WatchMojo video literally bypasses explaining how she was sexy to just describe the movie. Meanwhile, ignored is Yuna from Kiss of the Damned. Another independent movie, but this one is literally about a woman being so hot that a guy basically volunteers to become a vampire just to be with her, that had easily the sexiest vampire fang-out scene I've ever witnessed in my life, and I've seen a lot of them. I mean, any vampire scene in this film is much hotter than anything that happens in Only Lovers Left Alive, and it's not even close. Number 15, Clara Webb, Byzantium. And another one that ends up on the list just because it exists. Yes, she was a prostitute as a human, and yes, there are scenes that can easily be deemed sexy, but enough for her to be in a top 20? I don't think so. Nor does WatchMojo's narrator actually give an explanation as to why she's on the list either. Meanwhile, you know who's not on that list? Regine from Fright Night 2, a woman whose entire existence was using sex appeal to haunt a college kid in his dreams while he slept. If you grew up in the 80s, this woman defined what a sexy female vampire was, but yeah, let's ignore that and include the movie equivalent of a Vampire Take Your Daughter to Work Day as sexy instead. 13, Carla Lind, The House That Dripped Blood. Is Ingrid Pitt hot? Absolutely, but the only role that should be on a top 20 sexy female vampires list is on the list much higher, and that's when she played Carmela Karnstein in the movie The Vampire Lovers. As Carla Lind in The House That Dripped Blood, her role is more or less a parody of a vampire than something that should be taken seriously, though I get that the cleavage at the end is hard to ignore. But there are quite a few vamps who could have been put here from the same era that better fit a top 20, so I'll just throw in the Karnstein vampire played by Kristen Lindholm, also from the film The Vampire Lovers. I mean, all she had to do to stop a vampire slayer was to be sexy and not wear a bra. Arguably, I'd have her even higher on the list than Pitt's Miracala Karnstein, who was listed at number 7. Number 10, Rain, Blood Rain movie. The literal reason this film bombed was because they took a character that was supposed to be sexy, took all the sexiness away, and made a period action film where she's wholesome and hanging out with kids. If we're talking the video game character, yes. Even the 2 straight-to-DVD Natasha Malty versions are sexier than the Christiana Loken original, but if we're going with female vampire superheroes, Vampirella is right there, and she is played by a former Bond girl. She runs around half naked the whole time, and her sex appeal is her superpower, so how was she not included, but Blood Rain was? Number 8, Alice Cullen, Twilight. No, just no. Who in the world watched any Twilight movie and was like, hey, the one who looks like some kid's babysitter, who for some reason is wholesome and nice to the point that you can't even imagine her being sexual in any way? That's sexy. Is it a Imagine Velma from Scooby-Doo is really hot under the glasses situation? Yes, Ashley Greene is pretty, but that has nothing to do with Alice Cullen. Instead, literally pick anyone from True Blood. You've got a redhead teenage party girl, multiple dominatrixes, including one whose entire existence is about training men to please her. I mean, you could have went any direction here. And finally, at number 4, La Vampire, Père Je t'aime. I've seen her on many top 10 lists and I just can't see it. If she was in the bottom 10, I'd probably let it go, but a fully clothed mute who just floats around in a vampire short is not top 5 sexiest female vampires of all time material. Again, I get that the actress who plays her under the makeup, similar to Ashley Greene, is hot, but we're talking the character, not the actress, and she doesn't really stick out to differentiate her from many other random vampires you'll see in anything else. But you know who does, who isn't on this list? Space Girl from Life Force. A vampire who doesn't have an actual true form and is only viewed as the fantasy of the person she intends on feeding on, which makes her the majority of the film a sexy, naked young woman. How in the world is she not on a list of sexiest female vampires of all time, which she's clothing optional? I know not everyone is a vampire historian like I am, but they could at least put some effort into their list, or just kept it the top 10. Maybe I'm wrong and some of you agree with their list, so let me know. How'd I do? Am I making a big deal over nothing, or do you agree they just pulled names from a hat to fill a top 20? Are there ones I didn't mention that you think should have been included? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you like these recaps, please leave a like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to know every time I update. There is now an option to be a channel member where you'll get access to exclusive recaps from late night vampire catalogs like Showtime, Cinemax After Dark, USA Up All Night, and much more. If you want to help my channel grow, please check out my Patreon where members can get exclusive content that can't be uploaded on YouTube along with download options. Link is in the description.